The international airport was alive with activity, a constant symphony of rolling luggage, distant chatter, and automated announcements echoing through the vast terminal. Captain Rafael Rafi del Rosario navigated the bustling crowd, with ease, his casual attire, jeans, and a polo shirt, allowing him to blend in among the throngs of travelers, his unassuming demeanor bellied. The decades of experience he carried as a Filipino-American pilot for his pioneering contributions to aviation safety. He was en route to an aviation summit where he was scheduled to present on cutting-edge safety protocols. He had helped develop it was just another day for Rafi. Though the weight of his achievements rested lightly on as Rafi walked confidently toward the restricted area that led to the private lounge for airline crew. Before he could enter, Officer Liam Carter, a security guard stationed at the access point, stepped in his way. Carter, a burly man with a stern demeanor, was known among the airport staff for profiling travelers who didn't fit his narrow perception of belonging. As soon as Carter noticed Rafi, suspicion clouded his judgment. His eyes sharpened and he blocked Rafi's path. "Excuse me, sir," Carter said firmly. "This is a restricted area. Passengers aren't allowed beyond this point." Rafi responded with a polite smile and reached for his ID. "I'm a pilot, officer," he explained calmly. "I'm heading to the crew lounge before my flight." Carter snorted, scanning Rafi from head to toe. "A pilot? Sure you are. Let me see that ID." Rafi handed over his identification, maintaining his composure despite Carter's dismissive tone. After a quick glance at the badge, Carter shook his head. "This doesn't look legit. Where'd you get it? Some random website?" A small crowd began to gather, intrigued by the rising tension. Rafi took a deep breath, his professional discipline taking over. "Officer," he said, his tone steady, "I assure you my ID is valid. I've been flying for decades. If you need further confirmation, you can contact airport administration." Carter smirked, his condescension barely concealed. "Flying for decades? Maybe paper airplanes. You don't look like any pilot I've ever seen." The murmurs in the crowd grew louder and several people began recording the incident. Among them was Laura Stevens, a renowned aviation journalist who had just exited a nearby flight. Recognizing Rafi instantly, her brow furrowed in concern as she stepped forward. "What's going on here?" Laura demanded, her voice cutting through the commotion. Carter turned toward her, irritation flashing across his face. "Just handling a security issue, ma'am. This man claims he's a pilot, but his story doesn't check out." Laura's eyes widened as she looked at Rafi, then back at Carter. "Claims? Do you even know who this is?" Carter's skepticism didn't waver. "Should I?" "This," Laura said sharply, "is Captain Rafael del Rosario, one of the most respected figures in aviation. He's revolutionized safety protocols and received countless awards for his contributions to the industry. If anyone belongs here, it's him." The crowd gasped, the murmurs escalating as her words spread. Carter's confidence faltered. "That's not what his ID looked like to me," he muttered defensively. Laura crossed her arms, her gaze piercing. "Maybe that's because you didn't bother to check properly. Or perhaps you assumed he couldn't be who he said he was based on how he looks. Either way, you owe him an apology." Before Carter could respond, Airport Director Martin Hayes arrived, drawn by the commotion. His face lit up with recognition as he spotted Rafi. "Captain Del Rosario, my sincerest apologies for the delay. Is everything all right?" Rafi nodded, though frustration lingered in his expression. "There was a misunderstanding, Director. Officer Carter here didn't think I looked the part of a pilot." Hayes's expression darkened as he turned to Carter. "Officer, Captain Del Rosario is a guest of honor at today's aviation summit. He's not just a pilot, but a pioneer in the field. I expect better judgment from my staff." Carter stammered, his bravado crumbling under Hayes's stern gaze. I didn't know." "That's the problem," Laura interjected. "You didn't bother to find out before jumping to conclusions." The incident, captured by bystanders, quickly spread across social media. Hashtags like Respect Rafi and End Racial Profiling went viral, sparking outrage and igniting a global conversation about the biases faced by professionals from diverse backgrounds. Later that day, Rafi addressed a packed audience at the Aviation Summit. Though shaken, his confidence remained intact. He spoke passionately about innovation, safety, and inclusivity in the aviation industry. "The skies belong to all of us," he said, his voice resolute. "To navigate them safely and successfully, we must value the contributions of everyone, regardless of their background. Regardless of one's background or appearance, bias has no place in any industry, especially ours." Rafi's words resonated deeply and the audience erupted into applause. They rose to their feet, delivering a standing ovation that lasted several minutes. Among them was Laura, who smiled proudly as she documented the moment for her article. Meanwhile, Officer Carter sat in a break room watching the event coverage on television. His expression was a mix of shame and reflection. Following the incident, the airport administration had suspended him and required him to attend cultural sensitivity and professional conduct training. The footage of his encounter with Rafi played on a loop in his mind, each scene forcing him to confront the biases that had influenced his actions. As the summit drew to a close, Rafi was approached by passengers and colleagues, all eager to share their admiration and support. What began as an unjust encounter transformed into a reaffirmation of his mission to break barriers and inspire change both in the cockpit and beyond. The story quickly became a symbol of resilience and progress, shedding light on the urgent need for systemic change while celebrating those who overcome adversity. Rafi's legacy as a trailblazer in aviation remained untarnished, his journey serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration for future generations.